Natasha, and we're going to go through the webcast, adding and assigning an appearance state to a model in Creo Parametric. So there we go. And there's my name, my email address. If you want to take that down, it's going to be provided later as well if you have a particular question specific to this or some other topic that we can answer. Let me go forward here and talk about the objectives. I am going to talk extensively about the appearance gallery. This is the environment in which we manage and assign through our appearances into our model environment. And we'll talk about the different areas to make sure that you're familiar with the functionality that is available to you. And then, one moment here. I'm sorry, my setting must be different here. It was playing through the slides and I didn't want that. Thought I had turned that off, my apologies. But we are going to also learn how to assign appearances specifically to your model. This is done through the View Manager functionality. I'm going to show that too later in demonstration. And I am also going to bring up the configuration environment and show how you can set the color path file so that if you do assign colors, you can store those in your environment so that they're there the next time you launch the software. So I'm going to continue here, and this is showing a summary of the objectives that I've just discussed. So first and foremost, you can go to the View tab, both in the part environment and the assembly environment, and access the appearance gallery. And I'm showing an image here of that tool. You can expand out the area and it will allow you to view, search, and assign available appearances to a model. The functionality allows you to assign or set appearances to the entire part, or to individual surfaces of the model, or to surface quilts. In the assembly environment, let me go to this next slide here. You do have the ability to assign an appearance to the entire assembly, or you can assign the appearance to an active individual model in the assembly. This can be done in the ways mentioned here. First, you can select one or more objects and apply the active appearance to that object, or two, you can select an appearance and then select the objects to apply the appearance. So a couple of different ways you can go about doing this. So let me show the appearance gallery here in its default state. It is customizable. As I stated, you can add to the list of my appearances and store those through your environment, through configuration. And as you can see in this area here, there are a library of appearances, some based off of the materials. You do have the ability to apply an appearance to material or through material as well. There's a lot involved in that, and I'm not sure we're going to have a direct time for that part of it. But you can see here that it's through this interface that you can set different appearance states, and those that you would like to switch between in your model can be set in the model through the appearance tab of the View Manager. So the appearance state itself is stored in the model file through the View Manager, and you can use that tool to change between different colors or textures or different combinations of colors and textures that you might want to access at different stages. And this image here shows the View Manager dialog box. When you're in the part design module, or you have a part active, the View Manager appears as you see it here on the left. And there are 6 tabs in the View Manager. And there is an appearance tab specifically where you will see a master appearance and a default appearance. I'll speak more on these in a moment. And then what you see here on the right is a representation example of the view manager of an assembly model. So when you're in assembly design mode, and you go to view manager tool, the assembly view manager shows 8 tabs, as you can see over there. If I could count, yep, there you go. And you can see appearance is one of them. And it too, the appearance tab here in the assembly view manager has a master appearance and a default appearance. Now, I do have some information about your default appearance that I'll speak on here momentarily, but the currently active appearance state can be represented as your master appearance. You can change that one. Let me go to that slide and I'll come back to those. The default appearance state is editable. What you essentially assign in your master appearance is what you want to see, essentially. And that's the model as you created initially. And as you can see from the text here, the master appearance is there so that if you choose to make some variances in appearance, which you do through the either default or creating additional appearances, you can use the master appearance as a way to clear other appearances that you've set. And that's manageable. And if you have some commonality in approach with multiple users, meaning you use the similar appearance states, you use the same name, same or similar setup, then you could have various models, both parts and assemblies, with commonality in appearance states. That would be, of course, some planning that would take place to make that happen. And this image right here shows, of course, an assembly. You can see the 8 tabs of the view manager there with the appearance tab in the forefront. The tabs in the forefront have a lighter tint to them. And there is an additional appearance that is created and added to the list of appearances as you see them here. So you've got the 2 standard appearance states, the master appearance and the default appearance. And then you have a customized appearance state that is given a name. If you don't name it, this assign a default name. So traditionally, you would add a name that is maybe descriptive of what you've set in that state. Now, let me go back here. It's the view manager that holds all of your appearances, whether you have the standard ones that come with any model initially, or you add to that list with additional states. And when you save your file, you save your part, you save your assembly, these appearance states are stored within the model as well, so that the next time you retrieve the model, the states can be retrieved as well. And again, I'll show you that when we go through it. This image right here shows that handle model from the assembly that I previously showed an image of, and the master representation or the master appearance state is shown here on the left. And then I went in and applied through the appearance gallery a different appearance or color, as you'll probably hear me call it, because that's what it looks like to me, and stored that with a different name, and then that's what you see here. All right, and I'll do something very similar to this in real time so that you can see it. Now, of course, I've already gone to this particular image right here. I will reiterate that you can change the default appearance state that comes along with every Creo model, every part, every assembly. And its purpose is for you to have an alternative appearance in your model. And if you would like to go back to the original, quote unquote, original appearance, that would be what the master rep is. It, as you see there, again, is stored and set and not editable. Initially, the default appearance appears exactly like the master until you go in and change it. And I will show you how to do that here in a moment. And then you'd see a difference between the two after making the change. And then when you want to go back to the master appearance after switching to another, whether it's a default appearance or another, it's the activate operation that allows you to switch back and forth between which appearance state is visible in your main graphics window. All right, so let me stay here and bring up a couple of screens. First off, this image shows the handle model in its own window, and this happens to be Creo Parametric 4.0. And you can see from the in-graphics toolbar, the View Manager tool here. And I'll go over to the View tab right there in the ribbon. I just clicked on it, so it's a lighter shade. And as I stated a little earlier, the lighter tinted tab is the one in the forefront. And if you weren't sure, you can click on a tab. If it was not active or in the forefront, it will become active. And if you have that tab already active, you're not hurting anything. I know you can't see my hand, but I have clicked on that tab view a few times and you can see that nothing happens. It's already active. And there's the appearance group here on the left side here. And I'll go ahead and click on the appearance gallery there so you can see it extended. And I do have a few appearances here. And let's say, for example, I wanted to assign the red that you saw in the image a little earlier. It happens to be one of my favorite colors. So I'll go with that one. I'm going to click on that particular shortcut or that macro, and you can see this icon that looks like a paintbrush. All right, now you could do a few things here, and for what we're showing, I'm going to do one and then revisit this conversation later, but I'm going to take this paintbrush icon and click on the first line in the model tree tab of the navigator. And that names the part as you see it there. So I'm going to click on that, and very easy to miss, but if you've ever taken a class that I've conducted, you'll hear me say, approach the interface, the Creo Parametric interface, as we are looking at it as you drive your car. You don't just look straight ahead. You look to the left, you look to the right, sometimes you look up and down, but you can definitely see in the upper right-hand corner, there is this select dialog box that, as you probably know, allows you to go through selection. And if it was closed, you wouldn't be making the selection in the process at this moment. You would have gone past that point in the process. But as you can see, the text in the select box does say select one or more items. I actually selected the entire model. So at this point, we'll say OK, and that's going to apply the red appearance to the model as you see it here. OK, and that is one step in the process, if you will. Just for changing the appearance state. Now, because I mentioned that this is Creo Parametric 4.0, I want to bring up another image here. I've got Creo Parametric 7.0, where I have that same handle model in that particular window interface. And very similar to Creo Parametric 4. And I didn't want to bore you and bring up 5 and 6, so I thought I'd bring up the extremes that most are using at this point. But you can see here that in Creo Parametric 7.0, the setup to the environment is pretty similar. You can see me click on the View tab here, and definitely it is a lighter shade now upon me clicking on it than it was prior to doing so. So it's in the forefront, as I stated before. And there's an appearances group over here on the leftmost side there of the View tab, but there's the appearance gallery, and well, it's not here yet. For some reason, it's a little slower than me. All right, but there we go. Pardon me. And you can see now the appearance gallery is now launched, and very similar setup because I have all the defaults between the two applications. So I didn't do anything different or much different. But there is my friend there, the red appearance. And so I am going to click on that. But before I do that, let me mention, again, there's the navigator there with the model tree tab. Of course, it looks a little bit different, but I am in a different version of Creo. And there's the in-graphics toolbar. Yes, I know the names of most of these areas, but that's the toolbar below the ribbon. It's called the in-graphics toolbar. There's the view manager there, but you probably noticed that the view manager is also accessible from the view tab however you'd like to get to the launch of the View Manager dialog box. Once again, he's slow, but here he is. And there's the Appearance tab. Now, what I'm going to do here is let you see that the default appearance state here is active. It has the active green arrow pointing to it. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here to the appearance gallery, and don't forget about how slow he is, but there he is. There's the red, and then me selecting the top line of the model tree, the name of the model, the entire model, thus showing selected in the main graphics window. And here's the select box. They tend to go in the upper right area. Don't forget to drive your car, look around. There he is, and I'll just pull it a little bit over so you can see it. We'll say okay here, and then you can see the applied state. Now, when we go over to the View Manager here, and wow, was he really slow? But there he is. You can see the default appearance, and there we'll go back to the master appearance, and then I just did a double left click because I'm impatient, to be honest with you. But I know I told you to right click and say activate, right click and say activate. So I'll do that and right click and say activate, or when you get real comfortable, you can double left mouse button click. All right, I know you can't see my hand, so I'm telling you, double left mouse button click. And that's a secondary way of activation, as you saw there. So we've got the master appearance there, we've got the default appearance there, and if we were to go to the new button here on the appearance tab, that will, like it says there, create a new, I know that verbiage is weird, but it says zone, but we're gonna make a new appearance essentially. So there's the default naming, as I mentioned, that the system tends to go through, because as you know, in Creo, everything has a name. So an appearance state will have a name, even if you don't assign one, it has to be named. So there's a default name that's assigned here, and that could help, by the way, if you have, again, some commonality when you take a model like this into other environments like assembly mode or drawing mode, the names as well as the states follow. So if you've got a group that are approaching using appearance states similarly, using similar naming conventions, you could define a drawing template, for example, with some commonality in names that allows for the states to come in regardless of who made the geometry, who made the appearance state in the file as well. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the name here, and that will activate, as you see the green arrow, the current appearance. I can come over, for example, here to the appearances area, access from the appearance gallery, yet another color. Let's do something fun. Let's come over here to the brass appearance state, and I'll apply that to the entire model here. Say, okay, you know the process. And by the way, you can hit the middle mouse button, but you wouldn't see me hit the middle mouse button. So I tend to, in practice, click on the OK button, although there are alternative ways to go about accomplishing that same step. But you can see here that we've got a few appearances now in the model, and it's just a simple file save that will store not just the model itself, but the appearance state created in the model. So if I were to retrieve this later and revisit the View Manager as we currently see it, you will see everything that's added here. Now, if we went to an appearance, and for where we are, let's just say the appearance 001 here, you can right click, as I mentioned earlier, on a state by its name. And of course, you can see here the launched menu that pops up when you right click. I call it the right click window sometimes, or right click menu if you hear me say that later. But there are operations, some functionality tools that you can access here, like remove, rename, copy, and description. So maybe some of this is straightforward, but for where I'm going, rename here would be a way for you to have that field light up once again, where you could enter in a separate name. I'm just gonna write something here. And misspellings and all, by the way, if you were to do that. And again, if you need to make some adjustments, again, right click. Something else too, you can go up here to the edit button on the appearance tab. And this does have similar options that we saw when I right clicked on the appearance name. All right, so you can come out of the name area, go to the edit button and get similar options like rename, for example. So there, again, more than one way to get to a functionality if you chose to do that. And options has some tools in there too, like activate, that you might find helpful. Okay, now let me take a moment here and go back over to the Creo 4 version of the same thing we were just looking at and show once again that it's similar. So I picked the extremes. I shouldn't say that because we did say Creo 4 and someone may be running the earlier version, but I'm just showing between the two versions that the process is similar. So here's the appearance tab here in the view manager of this interface. Again, I'm in Creo Parametric 4, and then you can see the master appearance, the default appearance. You remember I last left this where the default appearance was active, but there's the master, how it looked before we edited, and then when we edited, it was the default appearance, and there's new, where we can create a new appearance, even the similar naming style, and I won't do anything different. And so you can see that two of the appearances currently look similar, okay, because I haven't edited the appearance 0001. You can definitely see now why you would change that name if that's what your intention is. I would definitely do that. So the process is very clean, but yet a process to create an appearance state. It's not difficult. It's just you gotta, know where to go and what tools to click on, and it's important to do that. Now that we've done that, let's take a moment here, and I will go to Creo 7, just in case someone out there is using 6 or 7. So let me switch back over to the other interface. All right, what I'm going to do now, well, first, I'm going to go back over to the master appearance. And again, that's clearing everything else that we had before, like an original appearance state, if you want to think about it along that nature. Very hard to mess up, if you will, because again, you could remove and you could also revisit, but with activation, the master appearance. At this point, stepping back a few steps, if we, during the process of adding an appearance, chose not to go to the entire model, but to a surface, as I said that you could, and I will pick red again. You can see me come in with the paintbrush icon there, the little cursor, to a surface. You even saw the little label there at one point showed us that it's a surface. There it is. So I can actually do like the select box says and select one or more items. And this is Creo. So I just selected that surface there, and of course it shows the color selection, which is green for my environment, unless you guys change the color. And then I'll click on this other surface, which of course you saw. Now doing so, the first surface is no longer selected. I bet you know where I'm going. If we held down our control key, you would group select. Again, still Creo, even though we're learning something different here, it's still Creo. As far as making selections, you still need to follow the process. And I'll just stop there with those surfaces, say okay. And then you can see the color is applied to those 3 surfaces that I selected. That very well may be an appearance that you wanted. We should, I guess, come in here and add that in. All right, we'll create a new. Do you want to say no? All right, and I'm not good at names, so I'll go with that default there. All right, so we've got a couple of appearances. We got the master, we have the golden that we had a little earlier, and then we had the newest appearance here. I guess I could have said newest, but there we go, showing that application. Now, staying away from the appearance aspect of things and just coming into the gallery. If we now came over to, say, yet another appearance, will be a little different here, blue, and go to the entire model, I want you to notice here, once we say okay, that because we went through and applied appearances to those 3 individual surfaces, they're not showing the update. Okay, now of course we could come through and then we can go through those individually. 3 is not that big of a number, but if it was 30 or some number that's big to you, 3 may very well be that number. Then it's the system does handle the individual selections differently than the entire model. And that would throw anybody off if they weren't consciously aware that that's going to happen, regardless of the version of the software, by the way, that you're running. So just Creo in general. And so inside of the appearance gallery, all right, there are some options in here that we'll speak on here. First, let's talk about clear appearance. Now you can use this tool to do exactly what the name is suggesting. You can click the clear appearance option right here. Let me actually go into the flyout so you can see there's a couple of options. But you can clear appearance here to remove an appearance that's been applied to a selected object. All right, so I can go here and remove that, and it revisits the currently applied appearance. All right, and I'm going to go back over to the gallery here and come back over to the drop down where we see clear appearances, where it does say clear all appearances. I mean, there is a reason to know, all your options. So I just got rid of all the appearances here. All right, and that got me back to what you remember was similar to the master rep, but something that you probably noticed that I'll make you aware of now in case you weren't, is that I'm still in that new appearance that I created. Look in the lower left corner of the main graphics window. You can see the appearance state that's applied if you're not in the master rep by its name. All right, so I'm going to go back over here to the view manager, and then we'll do that activate here. All right, so we're going to double click on golden. You can see the appearance state label down in the lower left corner of the main graphics window says that I'm in the golden appearance. We'll go to the master rep, all right, say master appearance, pardon me, and then we'll go to the default, all right, and we'll go back to master. See, it's telling us there, but the default is like what's assumed. And then, of course, we'll go back to the new one, the appearance 001. All right, so that's important when you're talking about clearing. And let's just go here to the default, and well, golden, in case I want to do something else to the default. I'm going to go back over here to the appearance gallery, and something that we'll pause on here just so I can get some variants. All right, we'll go back over to the clear appearance drop down, and when I clicked clear all appearances, there was a dialog box that popped up, and I just went through it so I could show you what I was showing you, but we'll pause here so that you can see. I'm being told that the model contains some non-active appearance states. You saw me change that color to that one surface. It's still there, as a matter of fact. We can remove all active appearances from the current model, or remove all active and non-active appearances from the current model. Those are your options. So you do have some choices. And I just picked the same choice I had before. But the point is you have choices. And it's even clearer when you look at it, because the little icon there even looks like a little eraser. So it kind of lets you know I'm removing an appearance in this case. So if you choose to, you could manage this palette here, add appearances to the palette and such. There's an appearances manager here. Let me just click on this here. You do have your my appearances in the appearance manager, and you can select, there's a few different options. Let me go over here to file. There is a file that gets generated. All right, we'll revisit that in a moment. But you do have the ability to create new appearances and save them to a file. Let me just hover over that save model appearances to a file button here. Even looks like save as right there. And if that's your intention, you are generating a file that back up here in the file button of this appearances manager dialog box. If you had a file that you had created, you can open it from here. And I have not done this, but I'm going to hit this open here, and you're about to see almost anything pop up here in a moment. but I am going to move over to my desktop and maneuver over to an area where, let's see here. I thought I might have a file, but let's just actually save one. Then we can worry about that later. So I'll save a file here. It will have a DMT extension. I thought I would have one on my desktop, but I was off. But we'll make one. We'll say okay. And then now that I've done that, if you had several such color files and you wanted to bring one in, of course, from that file button, you'll see an open box where you can maneuver over to wherever in your network you have a DMT file. Yep, DMT file, and you can import basically that into your environment. That's what open will do. And this save as you saw me go through earlier from that button, but still it's the same tool, exports, if you want to think about it like that. It exports the current file that you have out of the environment to the hard drive, wherever you want to save it. And then it's this append file right here, or option, I should say, that adds an appearance file to your environment. So you have some choices, is the point here. You do have some choices. And speaking of choices, let me get out of this and go back over here. Well, actually, let's do it this way. You can see the copy, paste appearances allows you to do exactly what the name says, copy and paste appearances, in case you don't want to store it necessarily as an appearance, but you want to duplicate it, and that's important. But from the manager itself, some of the tools that we spoke of, you can actually access from here too. And just from a single separate dialog box, it might be important for you to do just that. And I do like, because I'm used to it, coming over here to the appearance gallery itself, because you can actually get into the more appearances from here, from that direct tool, and it launches out an appearances editor, very similar to setting up just a basic new color scheme to your environment. So you can do this right here, give it a name, give the color a name. You can hit this button, that's an actual button there where it says color on the properties tab, and another box will eventually, there he is, pop out. He's slow, but he's steady. You can see the color editor there. You might have to expand some things out. Does have the color wheel there where you can click inside of the wheel. I'll do a little clicking here, and oh, that's nice. You can actually see different assigned colors based on where you clicked in that wheel. And you probably are noticing down here at the bottom, especially since I'm telling you now, that the RGB fields, those value fields, are updating as I click around the color wheel to the RGB settings. And so if you actually knew the red, green, blue that you wanted to enter in, that's RGB. You could actually type those in. You might actually know the numbers of a certain color. You could type those in, like, for example, I know that 50, 50, 50 is something I do a lot to go to a darker image, right? That's just something I just remember. Otherwise, you can enter in by sliding. You just use these little sliders here. But if you know your number, it's probably faster to type them in, unless you are way quicker at this than I am, and you might be. But the point is, you have choices. You can come in to this other area here, RGB HSV sliders, if it's not already active, by the way, and switch over to the HSV area. Let me click on that, and it brings out the hue, saturation, and brightness value fields that you can either add direct values for or use the sliders, as you see there. You can actually see both in the color editor and in the preview appearance from the other box there on the left, the change that happens. And it is very probable that you are doing this just by what you see, so on the fly. If you know the numbers, fine, but otherwise, if you get to a point where you see something that you actually like, you can say okay, and that will finish out defining the color. And then you do have other tools, not just on the properties tab here in the appearance editor box, but on texture, bump, and decal. That's another lecture, I guess, because you could spend another hour talking about that stuff. But close here. And then I can assign this however, to the entire model or to surfaces as we talked about before, but there we go. And again, that could be one of your appearance states, or it might be something you just wanted to see real quick and don't want to store it in your state. That's entirely up to you because once again, the system is flexible. Now, you can, well, let me not just say you can, let me just go over here to File Options and give me a moment here. This is the Creo Parametric Options box, very similar no matter what version of Creo you're running. Same name, by the way, in 4. I know the name might be slightly different in earlier versions, but definitely File tab Options. That's how you get to it no matter what version of Creo you're running, 1 through 7. Then from the launch dialog box, you can go down to the configuration editor, last option in the list, no matter what version you're running, you can't miss it. And you could either maneuver over to the appropriate configuration, or if you're like me, you'll just either simply find or add. So I'm going to go over here to add and type out PRO, shift minus key to give us a little underscore there. And then on my way to typing out color, I got the CO there. You can actually see I don't need to type anymore since all your options are listed alphabetically. The system just maneuvered down through the listing there based on what I've entered in. And you can actually see Pro Color Path, a color map path, pardon me, Pro Color Map Path. That particular setting there can be used to point a color map file to. So once you close your Appearance Manager dialog box, that sets up a file, and you could set your configuration option right here to point to that said file if that's what you intend to do. You just simply browse and then maneuver over to in your network where you might have such a file, and I didn't create one, of course. All right, hold on for one moment here because I can maneuver over to somewhere where I know such a file exists. All right, hold on for a second. All right, and so I've got a directory here that I'll just go with that directory. That I'm going to set that particular file to, and then it's there. Oh, by the way, okay, yes, okay, all the configurations so that that's set in there. And it did come up here. I'm going to see if I say all files that it'll show here. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and I don't see it at the moment. All right, I'll bring that up a different way here in a second. All right, so there is the Pro Color Map Path configuration. Here I am going to go through and finish out the assignment of that into the configuration. All right, and this guy is 7, so let me go through that. All right, and it's set now. It is set in that config, and it will show a green bullet to indicate that it's set. And if I have my glasses, oh, there it is, and there it is. It's assigned. So it's all sitting there on the desktop, and again, that's just going to link over to that file, the DMT file that's on the desktop. All right, and it's still there, by the way. And I believe I left the File Explorer up there. Yeah. And sorry about everything on the desktop, but there's quite a bit. And I'll just hit Date Modified, and there he is right there. Pardon all the other stuff that you're seeing. All right, but there he is right there. Handle DMT, so everything's set. Whew. All right. That was everything that, well, most of everything that is about the appearance editor. Again, the other things about texture and combinations and such, I did mention that it would be a longer conversation to show all of that, but I do intend on adding some more information out to the blog about that with procedural steps, so that if that's something of interest, it's not entirely common, but some would like to know how to add textures and decals, so that I can put out for another conversation in the blog. And